Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2025 Travelers Championship. It's the hangover of the US Open. I don't know if any of you guys are feeling it, but I certainly am. Maybe it was that, and I had a golf tournament this weekend too, so it was good. All things good. Hopefully you guys had a good US Open. In this video, basically go over all of the general pieces of information, going over the golf course, tournament information, pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. We want to talk about salaries this week. Scotty Scheffler's over $13,000 again, so we have decisions to make. So we will explore all of those things. Just a reminder, this is a live stream, so obviously I will interact with my chat throughout the video. Basically like to go segment by segment, and at the end of those segments I'll acknowledge chat, see who all talked, and answer any questions or anything of the like. So welcome in everybody. I see Joanne, AJ, John, and Nate Game. Nice to see you guys. Hopefully y'all did well during the US Open. But yes, I will be building lineups later on in this video. So if you are interested, if you're a first-time listener, first-time viewer, basically I'll go throughout the whole SweetSpot process throughout this video and build lineups at the end using the optimizer that builds lineups for us, that follows the process. Basically, I know that's basically that's a lot of the same things being said round and round, but yes, talk about the SweetSpot process, then use the optimizer that uses the process to build lineups for people. It's just kind of giving you an idea of what you can do with your lineup builds. There are timestamps that are in the description below, not during the live stream, obviously, but there will be after this goes live. Before we get into any and all, let's quickly cover giveaways. So I like to do a weekly giveaway and I like to do a monthly giveaway. Every week I give out $5 in cash, and every month I'll give a membership out to SweetSpotDFS.com. Now, if we can reach the goals that we have all the way over to the left, then I will also provide a t-shirt. Well, last week during the US Open, instead of providing a t-shirt, I just created a different type of giveaway that just gave out more money. So that's why you don't ever see a t-shirt that, or at least I don't say it, but you can see in the fine print right there, a t-shirt will be added to the monthly prize if the goal is met. So it's brand new. Now our new goal is 900 subscribers. We're at 854. So hopefully, you know, we can get there. We get most of the peoples that sign up during the majors, and we've got one more major left. So we'll see if we can get some more. If you are a new time listener, watcher, please subscribe. And then also I have a SweetSpot DFS giveaway that basically, when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away $1,000 worth of giveaways. If you want in on this giveaway, you need to go sign up at SweetSpotDFS.com. Go create an account. It's super simple, super easy. There's a link in the description to go to the website. I don't ask for credit card information, just a first, last name, and an email address. So go check that out. And again, once we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will run this giveaway. So all of it works in together. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. For the subscriber giveaway, to get an entry, you have to be subscribed to the channel, and you have to either be here during the live stream when I ask for roll calls, or on replay. If you're not watching this live, even the people here that are watching it live, go back to the video after it's been posted, go comment down below, you'll get an additional entry into the giveaway. So I just want to throw that out there. And speaking of these giveaways, let's go ahead and run one. Now, the US Open week had its own videos for its own giveaway. What you see on the screen are all the people that participated during the strategy video that I did Tuesday after the US Open giveaway had been given. There were only 2 people that posted in the comments afterwards that got entries. Lombardi Lee was one of them. Nathan Johnson was another. There's always a little Easter egg to get an additional entry. You just got to read the description of the video. but you have to go back to the video at the end of it and go and post. So Nathan Johnson is like the only person that does that. I appreciate you, Nathan. Thank you. Thank you for going in there and commenting. Either way, we have 12 total entries. This is to win $5. Let's go ahead and run that entry. Jim Lemoyne, roll call number 1. Jim, congrats, man. I don't remember where to send you money, but Venmo, PayPal, or Google Pay are the avenues that I can send you money. I know I've sent it to you before. Also, I believe you bank them for t-shirts, I believe. So any and all are acceptable. That is fine. All right. So those are the giveaways. Before we get into the course and tournament information, let me check out the chat. See all that I can see. All right. I already said hi to everybody in chat. Good luck to you, Joanne. AJ says he's been on a losing streak for like 3 months. I've been on a losing streak for a month. So I feel ya. Yo, A-Game, what's up, man? Scotty played horrible and finished 7th. Well, we can actually talk about that. We can talk about the US Open. How about we just do that right away? I won't go into the course and tournament information. We'll review the US Open and talk about the US Open because there's a lot to talk about. AJ says hit the like button. I forgot to mention that. If we reach 25 likes on this video, I will give out 5 YouTube memberships. And there's something to go along with that I want to mention when we go into the review of the US Open, because we were on JJ Spawn for the members only videos. You had to be there. You have to be a member. One way to easily get it is just get these videos up to 25 likes, or just buy the $4.99 membership. The white tier membership gets you access to those member only videos. I got a new fancy picture update on my Facebook page with photos and a ton of new videos. That's sweet. What's going on, Lombardi Lee? Sam Burns and Victor Hovland were the lineup locks last week. Did you make some good money, Lombardi? That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the US Open. I want to review the US Open before we go in the course and tournament information. And in all reality, I should probably always do it this way. So I only like to talk about the sweet spot process. JJ Spawn is your winner, so I get it. I understand. But I only really want to talk about the sweet spot process because it was 100% correct. All of the bucket projections that I had were correct. All of them, all the projections that I had. So for those that are new to the channel or just coming in watching this for a brief second and just trying to figure out what it is, I project how many golfers from each of these buckets will finish inside the top 10 based off of historical data and based off of the golfers that are in those buckets this year. So basically, this first bucket is called Last Year One. There are 6 stat categories with 6 buckets in each of them. And for each of the stat categories, those 6 buckets, basically, my minimums are going to equal 6 and my maximums collectively are going to equal 10. So it's going to be somewhere between 6 to 10, but it ends up being like 6 to 12, kind of. That's neither here nor there. I guess that's more information to confuse you guys on. Really what matters is the projection that I have. It says 2.18 to 3.64. I always round down with the minimum bucket or projection and always round up with the maximum projection. This Last Year One bucket, these are golfers who finished inside the top 20 of last year's US Open. So I said I was projecting 2 to 4. 2 ended up finishing inside the top 10. Only one of them was in the optimal lineup. By the way, Scotty Chef, no, he was not in there. Just never mind. Thought he was. Just kidding. But I had 2 in the sweet spot optimal. That is what these tables here, what these columns entail. So 2 finished inside the top 10, that automatically satisfies that projection. Sure, it was 2 to 4, but that's where you got to use your brain and figure out, should I have 2? Should I have 3? Should I have 4? Maybe I just want 1. Maybe I want more than 4. I don't ever suggest those things because I follow the projections pretty much to the number, right? Like, absolutely. So 2 to 4, I had that for last year 1. And as you go through each of these buckets, you will see that the projection, or I should say the numbers here in this year's totals, top 10 and optimal lineups, fall within these numbers. There's one other thing to mention. I always have a 2-point buffer between the minimum and maximum. So this bucket right here says 1.01 to 1.69. We always want to round up with the maximum, always, and always round down. Well, if I have a 2-point buffer, I want the minimum to go down 1. I don't want the maximum to go up 1. So I don't want this bucket to be a 1 to 3. I want it to be a 0 to 2. And a lot of that has to do with just years and years and years of going through this and just double checking. So like I said, you guys, if you want, pause the video, screenshot it, whatever you'd like, and just pay attention to the numbers that I have. And I'll scroll down. Again, this is just for you to pause. I've already looked through the bucket system. I already validated it. The bucket system was 100% correct. And we will have a bucket system for the Travelers Championship. I have a bucket system for every tournament. If you want to read up on the bucket system, go to SweetSpotDFS.com. You can find it under articles under the Fantasy Tools dropdown. So there you go. There's the first piece of the review. Buckets were correct. Second piece of the review is to see how many golfers were in the Marquee Tee Times, because that's another piece to the SweetSpot process, are the Marquee Tee Times. And I will already mention there were 2 golfers in the Marquee Tee Times that were in the Millie Maker lineup. And that was Victor Hovland and Scotty Scheffler. Now, I have made the comment before that I think there should just be a Scotty Scheffler filter on just about everything, or at least for the buckets. This might also include the Marquee Tee Times. If I were to build a SweetSpot Optimal and I exclude like Group 1 from the whole Marquee Tee Times, and you were able to play Scotty and Victor together, it blows the Millie Maker lineup out of the water. Like, the Millie Maker lineup was good, and we'll review that here shortly, but it blows it out of the water. The only thing is, obviously, I follow the rules, so I didn't want to play more than 1 golfer from the Marquee Tee Times. And again, for those that are new to the channel, those are the rules when it comes to these Marquee Tee Times. So I have highlighted it by every 3 golfers. And basically what I'm looking for is, or what you guys should be looking for, the little black tick mark. This little black tick mark indicates an optimal lineup. So the whole rules with the Marquee Tee Times is you want to find 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around from the Marquee Tee Times, and you don't want them to be playing together. Very rarely do we see golfers in the same group playing together in the optimal lineup. And since that's what we're trying to chase the perfect lineup, because the perfect lineup never loses. Also, for some of the high-end content creators that talk about, oh, chasing the optimal lineup is stupid. Yeah, no, I don't really chase the optimal lineup completely. I chase the perfect lineup that spends $49,600 and above of the salary cap. That's the optimal lineup I'm looking for. That's what I call the SweetSpot Optimal. But coming back to the Marquee Tee Times, you do have Victor Hovland, Scotty Scheffler, and Colin Morikawa. Not Colin Morikawa, but that was your Group 1. And Scotty and Victor were in the GPP winning lineup. However, only Victor was in the optimal lineup. And if I scroll through all of these, you have 3 total golfers: Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, and JJ Spawn. That's right, JJ Spawn was in the Marquee Tee Times. And that means there's only 3 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in the optimal lineup. Now, Sam Burns he was in group 10, which is not a Marquee Tee Time, but close. But if you see there, he's the only guy from his group in the optimal lineup. And outside of Scotty Scheffler and group 1, none of the golfers here were paired up with another golfer that really did well, like in their tee times. You had Adam Scott that was playing with Hideki Matsuyama and Ludwig Oberg. They didn't do well. Ludwig missed the cut. Matsuyama finished 42nd. Rory McIlroy finished 19th, believe it or not. And he was in the Sweet Spot Optimal. We'll get to that shortly. Brooks Koepka was the other guy that was in the Sweet Spot Optimal at $8,200. You can see with both Rory and Brooks, all of their playing partners missed the cut. Then we have Tyrrell Hatton in group 6. That was in the optimal lineup. JJ Spaun was in the optimal lineup, but no one else. This is why I go over the Marquee Tee Times every single week, because it's a commonality. It's a common, people are going to want to call it trends. Sure. I don't have an issue calling it a trend. That's fine. But if it happens over and over and over again, I don't really necessarily have to give anybody quantifiable data or reasons to make it make sense. If you golf competitively, you understand why it makes sense. Like, it's just one of those things that you have to have just knowledge about, I guess, to understand why the tee times work out the way they do. And if that's not good enough for you, that's fine. The data just proves it. I'd rather be in the 90% and up bracket that just plays it the way that I play it, because that's what happens week in, week out. 90% of the time, these golfers, it's like 95% of the time, these golfers aren't playing together. Or I should say, they're not in the optimal lineup together. But like I said, going back, Scotty Scheffler with Victor Hovland would have been in a Sweet Spot Optimal that would have taken down the GPP with no problems. And I guess let's go ahead and talk about the 3 different lineups. Like I said, there's the optimal, there's the Millie Maker winning lineup, and then there's the Sweet Spot Optimal. Sweet Spot Optimal follows all of the rules for the week. That lineup scored 436.5 points, and it included Rory, Brooks, Sam Burns, Victor Hovland, Bobby Mack, and JJ Spaun. That used up $49,600 of the salary. There was a lineup that actually matched that. No, it did not. Just kidding. It did not. It did not match it. It's like half of a point off, and it included Scotty Scheffler. But I don't remember the rest of the golfers. It obviously did not include Victor Hovland because they played together. But it was Scotty and JJ, Bobby Mack, I want to say Tyrrell Hatton, Carlos Ortiz, something like that, and used up $49,800 of the salary because I don't have the optimizer available with the US Open stats or the US Open rosters. I can't build that one for you again. So anyways, that's the whole... That's the Sweet Spot Optimal for you. The Millie Maker lineup scored 444.5. So 436.5 versus 444.5 doesn't work out. We obviously lose to the Millie Maker winning lineup. I even checked. We would have lost to 2nd place, but we could have gotten to 3rd place with the lineup that I just highlighted. What's interesting is, in the $5 Drive the Green contest, the winning lineup was 434. It scored 434 points. The Sweet Spot Optimal that I just showed you would have taken that one down. So you could have won $100,000 there, but you would have only won $40,000 with the Millie Maker contest. So just throwing that out there. And the Millie Maker lineup, by the way, had Scotty Scheffler in it at $14,400. What was Scotty owned at? A whopping 37.44%. So all the game theory bros out there, like, okay, how many weeks is this in a row that Scotty Scheffler was either in the winning lineup or in a lineup, a realistic lineup, that would have taken down the GPP winning, or the big GPP of the week? So it's like, I'm at a point now that I think 14,400, I mean 14,004, 14,005 is nearly, it might be the maximum price that we can feel comfortable playing a Scotty Scheffler. And if you guys don't remember, I created a price conversion for the US Open because of the 5K range. You want to know something? This GPP winning lineup had Scotty Scheffler 14,400. Anybody that's 10K and above, I consider a 10K golfer. If we go from there, Victor Hovland, believe it or not, at $8,500 in any normal given week, would it be a 9K golfer? And if you use the cheat sheet that I had available for you guys, and in fact, I'll go ahead and bump it up. Hey, here's a good reminder right now. Go to the website, SweetSpotDFS.com, go under cheat sheet, under the fantasy tools, and then scroll down till you find this cheat sheet. Click here. This will open up the cheat sheet for the Travelers Championship, which I see a couple people in here already. So if I zoom in on this, there was this price conversion tool that I have, and I kept it here for you guys to look at. This is from the US Open. Victor Hovland would normally be about $9,000 on the button. And I basically tiered these off as DraftKings normally does every single week when it's normal pricing, when there's not a 5K range. So 10,200 and above would be a 10K range. 9,800 down to 85 would be the 9K range. And then it goes 82 down to 73 is what I would consider the 8K range. So just throwing that all out there so you guys understand. So this would be a 10K golfer and Scotty Scheffler at 14,400. Victor Hovland would be a 9K golfer. And then the Millie Maker winning lineup doesn't go to the 7K range. It builds a lineup with 4 7K golfers, although they're not going to be shown as 7K golfers from the salary standpoint. But if we convert those prices, it becomes a 7K golfer. And that's, you have JJ Spawn would be a 7K golfer. Bobby Mack is a 7K golfer. Sam Burns is a 7K golfer. And Adam Scott's a 7K golfer. Well, let's go find all those guys on the cheat sheet. If I come down here, first guy we want to find, Sam Burns, $7,100. There's JJ Spawn and Bobby Mack, $6,700. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we should find Adam Scott, $6,600. That's all within that 7K price range. So if just going back, there's one 5K golfer up there. I'm sorry, 2. Chris Kirk even being one of those guys. I told you guys this in the US Open. What was it? Player by player. The DraftKings player by player. I thought Chris Kirk would be a good play. But then in the members only video that I posted, I was like, I don't really like him. But who else was on Victor Perez? I said I liked Victor Perez. I did not like Tristan Lawrence. I did not want to play Tristan Lawrence. But even with those 5K golfers finishing up there, I mean, they didn't really help you build a Scotty lineup. Your winner was $6,700. And this is exactly my argument as to why I thought playing Scotty Scheffler is not a big deal. And playing Scotty Scheffler moving forward is not a big deal. Scotty Scheffler, anybody who's on tour has the capability of winning. There are some guys, I guess I'll retract that or redact that just a little bit. Some guys are overextending their stays. They're overextending because they have enough exemption status for the next couple years, or they might be on their last year of exemption status, where they're just not playing good enough and they shouldn't be on tour. But they earned those exemptions from, you know, previous years playing well. Winning an event gives you like a 2-year status, and then if you win a second event, that just gives you another 2 years after that. So some of these people aren't necessarily good enough to win now, but being on the PGA Tour, anybody is capable of winning at any time. And most of your winners are going to come from the 7K and above range, which exactly was where JJ Spawn came from. Yeah, a bit odd and a bit crazy that someone like JJ Spawn in this very difficult golf course that's long, it was wet, it's a US Open. How does someone like JJ Spawn win? We talked about accuracy, guys. You needed a few of them in your lineup, and one of them ended up winning. Scotty Scheffler finishing 7th place at $14,400. $14,400 was in the Millie Maker lineup. He wasn't even in the, he was in the first place lineup. He was in the second place lineup. He was in the third place lineup. The guy that won $100,000 in the Drive the Green also had Scotty Scheffler. Ron Kloss, I think he finished second or third in the Drive the Green contest. He had Scotty Scheffler in his lineup. It's like, I'm done talking about, I mean, I just don't care about game theory altogether, but I'm just done. I'm just done talking about it. I don't need to argue about why Scotty Scheffler shouldn't be in your lineups all the time. And oh, by the way, what I did for the website is I always put the best lineup that's $49,600 and above as the Sweet Spot Optimal. Yes, it did include Victor Hovland, which doesn't follow the Sweet Spot process or the rules, but this lineup scored 459 points. It is the best lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary and above. That beat out the Millie Maker lineup by 15 points. The Optimal scored 468, so this is only 9 points behind the Optimal lineup, and the Optimal lineup used up $43,000 of the salary. There's no way you're building that lineup. Leaving $7,000 on the table is impossible. Like, to find the correct golfers to put in your lineup, it's nearly impossible to do something like that. So, yeah, I'm kind of just over it. Scotty Scheffler is going to be known as a legend after his career. If you're not playing, I mean, I will say, if Scotty Scheffler at $14,000 is in a field where 45 golfers are $7,000 and above, then I'll pause. I'll pump my brakes. But because the US Open, you know, had its pricing the way that they did, again, from here up would be 7K and above. That's 60 golfers. I'm sorry. If 60 golfers are 7K and above, a $14,000 Scotty Scheffler will become impossible to play. Because what would be 67? What did I have that as? $7,300. So if I go back to the US Open, if these guys were $7,300 a piece and Victor was $9,000, that means Scotty Scheffler would not be able to be in a lineup. I'll be real with you guys. Everything I just said, that changes if the salaries change with it. But because DraftKings went like this with the salaries, where they just stretched the top guy and just kept pushing him up here and then pulled down everybody else with salaries, it made building a lineup with Scotty Scheffler possible. And again, I adjust these salaries. 14,004 is pretty, it's around 13,000 something. I put 13,200, but it was like 13,003 or 13,004. So there we have it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. That is my review of the US Open. We went over the Optimal, the Millie Maker, the Sweet Spot Optimal. I gave you my 2 cents about Scotty Scheffler. Do I have to talk? No, nothing else. I don't have to mention anything else. All right. End of the segment. Let me check to see what chat has to say. I selected both guys to build my lamps around last week. Your live stream last week. Yes, I did, Eric. Okay, cool. Dave Warfel, what's up, man? Eric, I didn't get the optimizer last week, so hopefully you didn't block me. Just sent in a request for this week. Well, let me double check. Maybe you have me in your spam folders. I got you, man. I'll send it to you right now. And that way we can confirm on stream whether you got it or not. Anybody that sent in a request, I sent them the optimizer. And I'm sorry you didn't get it. If I truly didn't send you one, that's on me. All right. Just sent it to you. Dave, I don't see you in my sent folder, so I must have missed you. So my bad, dude. I am so sorry, Dave. Dave Warfel, not Dave Dean, but I see Dave Dean in the stream. What's going on, man? Q&A. or question QA. I'm towards M in terms of high variance with strong ceiling despite struggles. Who are your outliers? If pressed to identify a golfer in a slump who might defy the odds and either win or top 5. Well, we'll get to it. I'll get to it in the bucket system. Immature promise wheels. Hello. I'm going there, but it's recent form been a roller coaster. I'm wondering if Eric has a ride or die with promise like that. I'll definitely go over it in the bucket system. Okay. Yeah, we'll cover all that. All right. Let's go ahead. I'll throw a transition on this, and we're going to talk about the golf course really quick. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this, but let's go over it nonetheless. You can find this tool at SweetSpotDFS.com. Go to Fantasy Tools. Under that, it says Golf Course Stats. Find Golf Course Stats. Drill down on this. If, for whatever reason, the tournament name isn't the Travelers Championship, go ahead and type Travelers in there, select it, and then go into the golf course and select TPC at River Highlands. That is where you will find all of this information. Now, basically everything you see on screen, everything I'm going to talk about are just data points that you can use in your research. The yardage is 6,800 yards, par 70. Your architect is Pete Dye. That's an important thing to me. Another important thing to me is turf grass. You have bent grass and Poana. Now, most people are going to try to use Poana, but if you listen to any of the pros that talk about this golf course and the turf grass, what it reminds them of, it reminds them of just good old bent grass. So very first thing that I provide you guys is, again, on the cheat sheet, which you can access on SweetSpotDFS.com, Fantasy Tools, cheat sheet. Scroll down, click on this cheat sheet right here. That brings you to this page, which I already had opened up to show everybody the price conversion. But from here, what you'll find out is I include bent grass under the course fit stats. I have bent grass, and although this is POA, this is really Pete Dye. I should change that right now. I'm just gonna go Dye. So those are the grass stats that I am using. And basically each of the grass stats will always have overall average, which goes back to 2013, top 10 percentage or top 10 success rates, basically. That also goes back to 2013. And then last year, whatever the last year stat or whatever stat that I'm looking at, that will always go back 365 days. So this will go back to last year's Travelers. So from last year's Travelers up to here, what is their average finishing position? And then this also goes into the model that I end up creating. I provide a weighted system for each of those grass types. And then that's how some of these golfers get a bit of an edge, because playing on a Pete Dye golf course does matter. Having Pete Dye experience matters. If you don't know why, has everything to do with just how Pete Dye sets up the golf course. He tries to use tricks, visual tricks. Sometimes, you know, the tees will be aimed off in one direction, but the hole will go a different direction. It's just to play little mind games. And then he'll have different rolling hills on certain parts of the holes with greens that slope opposite ways. So it's, you know, it's a difficult test most of the time when you play a Pete Dye golf course. Now, very first thing I'm going to say, I forget what was it, the RBC Canadian Open, where I identified a golfer that I thought was going to play well. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I was like, Matt McCarty. I said Matt McCarty for the RBC Canadian Open because it was wide fairways with big greens. Short golf course, pretty wide open. There is water on this golf course. You can see how many water holes are here. There are five holes where water's in play. Anyways, short golf course requires a bit more accuracy over distance. Sign me up for Scotty Scheffler all day, all night long. Seriously. As soon as, and you want to know the thing that really sells it for me? We're going to get to this. We haven't gotten to it yet, but we will get to it. I forgot to put the Travelers Championship over here. Let me put a filter on this. You're going to kind of get a quick inside look at the Marquee Tee Times. Look who Scotty Scheffler's playing with. JJ Spawn. Your US Open winner. I don't know how many of you guys have a Samsung Smart TV, but they have a PGA Tour station or channel that's on there. They did an hour-long segment with Scotty. And by the end of it, I mean, it was cool. I really enjoyed listening to it. Scotty's way more competitive than you think he is. And Ted Scott was talking about Scotty's fire that he has. I'm going to mix that in with seeing this. And I know Scotty was very frustrated with how he played at the US Open. I'm going to take Scotty by 8 shots over JJ Spawn. And I almost want to say, dude, I feel like the 2 days that he gets to play with JJ Spawn, he is just going to lap the field. I just don't see it any other way. And this is a golf course that's tailor-made for him. It suits him so well. Like there's very few trees, there's very few shot shapes that are required on this golf course. It's all about positioning, playing smart golf, and who's the smartest golfer in the world? Who's the best golfer in the world? It's Scotty Scheffler. So it's really difficult for me not to. I mean, I'm just gonna lock him in. It's hard for me to think otherwise. I really don't care about his price tag. I really don't care what his ownership's gonna be. It's gonna be the best play, Scotty Scheffler. The rest of this tool, I do map out each of the holes so you can see holes 1 through 9, the pars, the yardages, and what shot shape that is preferred. Again, not necessary, but preferred for best scoring opportunities. You can all find that at SweetSpotDFS.com. And then on the cheat sheet, you can also follow along with me. I'm just going to take my sheet and go with this. We can just take the dream sheet from the cheat sheet and basically look at how many golfers are in the field. There's 72 golfers. So basically what I'm getting at right now is let's go over the tournament information. And there are 72 golfers. There's not a cut, 0 cut. There could be withdrawals, but there's not a cut this week. The strength of field is 756. I bet you that's very similar to last year's strength of field. 718. Yeah. 2023 was 717. So this is going to be slightly higher of a strength of field rating. And honestly, the AM PM stuff, you could just mix it all in together because I mean, they're all teeing off on hole 1 and it just starts at 7 in the morning and goes by 10-minute increments. So yeah, is 7 o'clock going to be a little bit different than those teeing off at 1 o'clock? Yes, absolutely. It will be different. That is what a normal morning late or early late tee time would be like. But when you talk about all the guys in the middle, there's not a big gap that would indicate morning versus PM, morning versus evening. So I don't necessarily care about waves this week. If you wanted to use the optimizer and just not care about it, basically all you would have to do is change these PM AMs just to all be one thing. All be PMs, all be AMs, and then you can actually use the other wave as like an additional group, as an additional filter. Like if you wanted to create a new pool of golfers, you could use the AM PM, and I'll show you how to do that once we get to building lineups. So that's another thing to add with it. Outside of that, I really have nothing else to talk about when it comes to the golf course and tournament information. I told you the stats that you can use for researching, and then how you can find them on the cheat sheet. So if you need to go back in time, hit the reverse button, move that progress bar over. But yeah, we're done talking about course and tournament information. All right. Let's catch up with the chat. No worries. I was pretty busy last week anyway. Okay. I really like Harmon here, says AJ Love. All right. Jim Lemoyne, you're speaking my language, Darbo. Turfgrass. Jim, you are the weekly giveaway winner, sir. And MD says Scotty has no chance this week, unfortunately. Okay. I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions. Some are just right and some are wrong. Okay. Let's it was a joke, by the way. Let's move on to pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. All right, one of my favorite segments. I like going over past optimal and GPP winning lineups. I usually like to start here with the historic salary builds. Go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Under fantasy tools, it's under past salary builds. From here, basically what I like to do is put in the tournament that we're looking at first, Travelers Championship, and really just review what the most common salary builds are. So that's where you can find up in this top right section. Basically, this is each of the lineup builds that's been recorded for the Travelers Championship, and it's either the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, or the SweetSpot optimal. So when they're all selected, all of them show up. When none of them are selected, all of them show up. And so you can see 10, 8, 3 7s, and a 6. If I drill down on that, that was last year's SweetSpot optimal and last year's optimal lineup. I bet you they used Scotty Scheffler at 12,500. One way to check this out, because this is just a general information page. If you want to dive in and see what these lineups are, just remember the information, 2024 Travelers Championship, and head to the Pass Optimal and GPP Winner tool, which is going to be under Pass Optimals. Drill down in 2024 right away, and then we're going to type in Travelers. So we look at Travelers Championship, and then we drill down on any of these lineups. Since it was the optimal in the SweetSpot optimal, drill down on the SweetSpot optimal, and you can see what the lineup was. Sure enough, Scotty Scheffler at 12.5, Tom Kim at 81, 3 golfers in the 7K range, and 1 golfer, Ricky Fowler, who I actually do like this week, at $6,700. So just pointing that out. And a lot of people in chat were talking about Sung Jae finishing 3rd here last week, or last year, I should say. Yeah, not a bad play. Now the optimal lineup was pretty similar. Scheffler, Kim, Hoagie, Im, Batia, but then it had Matthew Pavon. So that was, what was the difference in that? 744.5 points to 739. Okay. And the GPP winning lineup scored 722. Ooh. And that used up 0 6K golfers. Just throwing that one out there. But going back to the historic salary builds, just drill out of the filter that you applied by drilling into this the salary build, and that will bring everyone back, bring everything back. The next most common lineup is 10, 9, 3 7s, and a 6. That was in 2023 with the SweetSpot Optimal, and in 2017 with the Travelers Championship. Both of those were $11,000 golfers, though. So this is kind of your zoomed out look. A 10, an 8, 3 7s, and a 6. 10, 9, 3 7s, and a 6. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6. And 9, 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, which probably doesn't use up all the salary. Pretty close. In 2018, it was pretty close. But those are your most common salary builds, and really only 2 iterations of those lineups happened since 2017. So this one's pretty spread out. Now, the beautiful thing about this just generic page is it also gives you the percentages. You can see the total amount of 10K golfers that are represented in all of these lineups. There are 18. What do we have? A total of 22 lineups. 22 lineups, 18 of them. That doesn't really make sense, does it? I put in a 10K golfer. Yeah, it's 18 out of 22. How that percentage doesn't seem right. 81%. Am I doing my math wrong here? If you divide them in half, oh, I suppose it's not. It'd be 9 out of 11. It's not 81% though. Is it? I gotta check this. Hold on. I don't believe that's 81%. I'm probably wrong though. It is 81%. I don't know why I didn't think it was 81%, but it's 81%. Okay. 81% of the lineups had a 10K golfer in them. If I just look at GPP winning lineup, 100% of GPP winning lineups had a 10K golfer and above in them. If I combine that, the SweetSpot Optimal, okay, one SweetSpot Optimal did not have a 10K golfer in it. I thought I'd probably see 2, or I thought I would see 0 non-10K golfers or non-10K lineups. Okay, good to know. And you would imagine the optimal lineup would have less, just because optimal lineups tend to just have a lot of money left on the table. Now, to go further on with this type of research, I would clear everything out and just go into the more filters and go under salary used. Personally, I want to find something 49.6 and above, but just for the sake of this video, let's go 49.2 and above. And then for the highest salary in the lineup, let's bump this up to 12,800 and then bump this other number here down to, let's say 14,000. And then I also want to change the min salary here to 6,000 because we don't have anybody that's cheaper than $6,000. So basically what I'm doing is I'm adding a lot of filters to represent what the field looks like this week. That's pretty much what the filters here are doing. So if I hit less filters, we can see that, you know, the lineups shrink. There were over 1,000 lineups that, well, there's over 1,000 lineups. When we put all the filters in, we shrink it down to 11. So when there is a golfer that is over, you know, what did we say? $12,800. The most common lineup build is a 10-8, 2 7s, and 2 6s, followed up by a 10-8, 1 7, and 3 6s. That's 8 of your 11 lineups. So if we're looking to build lineups with Scottie Scheffler, we probably want to follow something like that. And in fact, at the US Open, that's kind of what you did. That's what the Millie Maker lineup did. It was 14,400. Then it went to Victor Hovland at 85. So it just went straight from 10 to an 8. Did have a 7, and then it had 3 6s. Now, obviously, you know, I price converted these. You know, I changed the conversion and it ended up being a 10 and a 10, 9, and 4 7s is what it ended up being. But as you can see, just with this lineup, it was 3 6s, 1 10, and one $8,500 golfer. Oh, I'm sorry, and a 7K. So 10, 9, 7, or 10, 8, 7. And 3 6s. Okay. And again, you can drill down on each of these salary builds just to see what the tournament it was and what the max salary was in each one of those. Max salary, again, is just who is the most expensive golfer in that lineup. And you damn well know those are Scottie Scheffler lineups. 2025 Byron Nelson, 2025 Memorial Tournament. Memorial Tournament was a signature event like this one is. The only difference is that one had a cut. This one does not. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. I don't really know if I have to talk much more about Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. I guess to tie it in with this week, obviously it's worth looking at this week's salaries. So I can use this page here. We have Scottie Scheffler at $13,300. $13,300. Then it drops down to 11.5, 10.8, and 10,200. We kind of have our normal numbers of 10, 9, 8s, and 7s. So this isn't at all anything like last week. So you have 6 9K golfers, and then the 8K range, we have 9. Normally we have 10 8K golfers, and normally we have 7 9K golfers, so we're just a little short on each of those, but this is a limited field, so that makes sense. When we just look at golfers, I know the typical response is, well, does Does Scotty really have that much more win equity than Rory McIlroy? And at this point in time, I don't even know if it's win equity that I care about when it comes to rostering Scotty Scheffler. I don't care. Scotty Scheffler is just too good. Look at his finishes and then compare him to anybody else that's on tour. 7th place finish it was his worst finish, and that was at probably the hardest test of the year, the US Open at Oakmont, where the weather was horrendous. Still finished 7th, still finished better than Rory, almost by triple. You know, some people like to talk about that. Is Scotty Scheffler really 3 times better than Rory? Most of the time, yes. Yes, he is. Because Scotty's winning the event. Rory's finishing top 10, top 20, maybe even outside. You know, missing the cut at the Canadian Open, finishing 47th at the PGA Championship. Man. Anyways. Is it possible that any one of these guys can win? Yes, it is. It sure is. But you want to know what? I'm just going to say the same argument. So too, the same possibilities for these guys. So too, the same possibilities for these guys. And so too, the same possibilities of those guys. When it goes from win probability, you go from Scotty, who's always around 16%, 16 to some 20%. It'll go to Rory at 8%. Then it'll go down to Xander at 6%. Colin will end up having 4%. And then it drops down into the ones pretty damn fast. And obviously you add them all up to equal 100%. Well, if it's top heavy like that, a lot of these guys will just have the 1%. And that's not even the right way to look at it anyways. Because if I were to be like, okay, well, let's add this. Sam Burns down to Ryan Fox. If I add up all 33 of these golfers, is their win probability better than Rory McIlroy's? Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not better. And is it better than Scotty Scheffler? Of course it is. But here's the thing. You can add Scotty Scheffler with one of these guys down here who might win the event down here. And who the fuck cares? Sorry for swearing. Who cares about who plays better up here? It's going to be Scotty. It's just going to be Scotty. I do like Cantlay. I like a lot of these golfers, by the way. I like Xander. I like Morikawa. I like Cantlay. I like Oberg. I also like JT this week. I really don't have any strong. I've been going on about Scotty Scheffler. Yes, I have. My cap with rostering any golfer is 59%. That's it, 59. So Scotty could be in 60% of my lineups. That means 40% of my lineups have to have other golfers in them. So I will definitely have a lot of these other golfers. I just don't know who I like more than the other. They're all pretty equal in my opinion. I just don't know. I'll let the optimizer do all the work. So there we go. I tied in the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups to talk about really how to start building lineups this week. And honestly, I guess I didn't get around to it, but Scotty with an 8K golfer or maybe even a low 9K golfer. Oh, you know what? Scotty and Jordo. I kind of like that combo. Scotty and Jordo. I also don't mind adding Scotty and Keegan Bradley because I am really cool with playing a lot of these 7K golfers. I think there's a lot of value playing Ryan Fox. It's like he just won twice in the last 7 weeks and finished top 20 at the US Open. He's $7,000. Are you kidding me? So yeah, I want to play him. Bud Colley. I have no problem going back to Bud Colley. I like Thomas Dietrich. One guy I won't play is Wyndham Clark. That hothead can just relax somewhere. Oh, Alex Noren. So it's like Alex Noren, I think, is a perfect fit for this golf course. I could even go down to Gary Woodland. I've got no issue with Gary Woodland. That's why I like building a Scotty Scheffler lineup this week is super easy. Super easy. Like, why wouldn't I want to? Because a lot of these dudes, I don't mind playing. Even Davis Thompson this week, I think is a really good play. So I just like so many of these golfers down here. I shouldn't say so many, but I like enough of those golfers paired up with a lot of these 7K golfers to make any Scotty Scheffler lineup work. Just throwing that out there. It almost just feels like it's Scotty and the rest of the field, which includes Rory and Xander. Those guys have to, you know, step it up for me to be like, okay, you know what? There is more of a conversation to have here. We should probably figure out, you know, what is the correct exposures to each of these 10K and above golfers. So there I go on my soapbox once again, talking about Scotty Scheffler, which is fine. That'll conclude that segment. AJ goes, I have Scotty, Griffin, Harmon, Scott, Fox, Dietrich in my dummy lineup. Denny says, dropping in to say hi, catch up in the morning. Denny, hello. Dave Dean, Scotty, and who else? Oh, just kind of went over some of the dudes. I'm not sure who I can pair up at the top end, but I just gave you a lot of the low price guys that I like. All right. We already did a review of the US Open, so we're not going to get into a review of that. We're just going to get right into the bucket system and talk about, you know, golfers from each of these buckets that I really like. Here we go. All right. So like I said, we reviewed the US Open. We went over the bucket system for that just to show you how well it did. Give you a little bit of confidence looking at the bucket system for this week. I'm going to try to narrow some of these columns so I can show you more. Good enough. Okay. Just a quick refresher. When it comes to these buckets, there are 6 stat categories with 6 buckets inside each of them, meaning there are 36 total buckets. I tend to just look at the min and max projections right here. Always round down with the minimum, always round up with the maximum. So this first bucket, the last year ones, that projection says 2.52, which we round down to 2, to 4.19. That's the maximum projection. We round up to 5. Now, if some of this is confusing for you, that's fine. We have an optimizer where I add each of these bucket conditionals in right under this segment here. So they all get implemented in here. We don't even have to look bucket by bucket. The optimizer can build these lineups by bringing in these projections over there. Now, I have already taken the liberty to create a Scotty Scheffler filter on most of these. Scotty did win here last year, but because it's 2 to 5. Oh, by the way, Scotty Scheffler filter, what does that mean? Basically any bucket that Scotty Scheffler's in, I'm going to drop the minimum down to 1. Or I'm going to drop the minimum down by 1. So 2.52, I'd actually drop down to 1.52 because Scotty Scheffler's just kind of automatically going to be inside the top 10 from this bucket. And you might not be able to roster him. So I do have to remove him from, or I have to remove the minimum part of it. Just pretending that he's going to be the one guy that's already going to be in the top 10 from that bucket. And he might not be, we might not be able to roster him depending on where he finishes. So I just want to throw that out there. It's all implemented in here. But either way, I do want to talk about the anchor buckets, which is just my way of narrowing down, slimming down the amount of buckets to talk about into the most important buckets, the ones we definitely want to grab golfers out of. So the way to do this is go under max projection and go filter by condition greater than or equal to 2. And essentially what this will do is it'll make sure the minimums over here always are over 1. They're always going to be about, the minimums will most likely be 1 or greater. There are exceptions though. There are exceptions. This last year's 6 bucket, I don't trust it. 1.25 to 2.08. That is so close to being under 2. This max, or the max projection. And same goes with this number down here. 2.13 is pretty darn close to being under 2. So my experience tells me I should ignore those ones as well. So I'm actually going to change this greater than or equal to 2 to be greater than or equal to 2.14, which will remove this 2.13 down here. And so all of the buckets you see on the screen would be technically anchor buckets, meaning you want to grab at least one golfer from here, or a different way to say this is I'm projecting at least one golfer from here to be inside the top 10. There are other things you can look at on this page, like optimal lineups and top 5 frequencies, just to see the min maxes. How many golfers from this bucket have been in the optimal lineup? Well, from the last year 1 bucket, we've always seen at least 1, up to a max of 5. And that's the highest max projection I have is 5. So maybe we see 5. And then you can just see for the rest of them. Optimal lineups. We've always seen 1 in the last year 1 bucket. Always have seen 1 in the last week 1 bucket. Always have seen 1 in a bucket where you missed the cut the week before. So those that missed the cut last week have a chance this week to finish inside the top 10. Or at least that's just what the numbers show. So wheels up, you're talking about which golfer has been, you know, basically not so much which golfer, but who has poor recent form that can find their way here and have a good top 10 finish. Well, we'll look at that bucket. We can take a look at that bucket. Course history 2s, course history 3s. Just in the, you know what? Let's go over each of these buckets. I'll go through these really quick. Let me zoom up. So last year 1s, we want somewhere between 2 to 5, or at least that's what I'm projecting to be inside the top 10. So the easy way to do this is go to the dream sheet. By the way, again, you can access the cheat sheet by going to SweetSpotDFS.com. Under fantasy tools, go to cheat sheet, drill down on that, and then scroll down where it says click here. You click here and a cheat sheet will appear for you. If I just do it for you, there it goes. So that's available to you guys. And if you want to follow along, make sure the salary is sorted from top to bottom. And then under the last year bucket, let's clear everything out except for 1s. And these are all of the golfers that finished inside the top 20 last year. So it goes from Scotty Scheffler all the way down to Matthew Pavon. Now, the max projection's 5. So we shouldn't see more than 5 golfers from this bucket representing the top 10 of the Travelers Championship. So it means we got to make cuts. And that's kind of what the whole purpose of this is. You got to make cuts, narrow down your player pool, and build your lineups around those guys. Now, personally, I don't suggest trying to find 5 golfers you can fit in your lineups. I think it's possible with the price tags. Like you could go Hoagie, Brian Harmon. Someone in the chat said they like Brian Harmon. Cam Young's kind of on a heater right now. Let's put him in there. How about Sung Jae? Someone mentioned Sung Jae. So we have 3 7s and a 6K. And then say you like Tommy Fleetwood at $8,900. You were left with $12,000, meaning you need to find 1 golfer to put in your lineups. And I mean, that could be Scottish, or it could be Rory McIlroy. Or maybe we you know, move up to Cantley at $9,800, and now you have $10,500 left. So maybe not. Maybe you go Xander as your top dude. Now you have $9,500 left. So I've just highlighted 5 golfers where you could build lineups around, and you still have $9,500 to grab a golfer from a different bucket. So you could do something like that, although that's getting a bit cute in my opinion. And unless you just have a really good idea or a really good feeling that these 5 golfers will finish inside the top 10 and help you, you know, win a good chunk of money, then go for it. Otherwise, probably steer clear and maybe select somewhere between 2 to 3. Again, Scotty being in this bucket, I'm just removing 1 from the minimum. So it's like a 1 to 5 bucket. And you can actually move it down to 4, 1 to 4. Up to you guys though. So that's how I'd look at that. Next one is last week 1s. These are golfers who finished inside the top 20 last week at the US Open. Believe it or not, we have Scotty Scheffler once again, followed by Rory, Xander, Burns, Hovland, Henley, and your US Open champion, JJ Spawn. So there's a good chunk of golfers in here. Ryan Fox is in this bucket. I like Ryan Fox this week. And I also like Scotty Scheffler. And if it was just those two golfers, that satisfies the projections. Now, there could be a third golfer that represents this, or maybe even a fourth golfer, but you definitely want to grab two golfers that you think are the best, in my opinion. Maybe three. Trying to figure out who, never mind. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Last week, twos, 20 to 40. Finishing 20 to 40, and 1 to 3 is the projection. So not a strong projection, but still grabbing one golfer from here, I don't see an issue with. And it's funny to see Jordan Spieth's name on there, because I don't know if I necessarily hate that idea, playing a lineup with Jordan Spieth in it. Oh, man, we're getting the yawns real bad. Morikawa, Bradley, I like those golfers. I guess I don't mind Pendrith, but I don't know. Pendrith just seems like a golfer that just does well on big boy golf courses, and this is more of a small track where playing smart golf is going to mean more. And I don't know if Pendrith has it. I don't know if Finau has it. Glad that I stayed away from Finau last week. My intuition was correct on that one. I don't really care for him this week either. I do like Matt McNeely, though. I like JT Poston. I can give Tom Kim a chance also. Heck, I can give most of these golfers down here a chance. It's not a bucket that I feel super confident in, so I'm going to move on. Last week fives. This bucket's for you, Wheels Up. Who from this bucket do we find the most confidence in? These are golfers who missed the cut last week at the US Open. So we have seen other golfers from other buckets pop up. You know, basically the last year ones. We have Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Fleetwood, Lowry, Batia, Wyndham Clark, and Tom Hoge. Those golfers we've already talked about or already checked one of their buckets. Now, if we're trying to find like a Sung Jae Im, you know, quality golfer, you want to find someone that has, I guess, decent recent form, at least a top 20 in the last few weeks. So I guess if I go back to here, can't go there, I gotta go here. No, I'm not gonna be able to figure it out from here. I guess recent form. We can check out recent form. So golfers I think I would stay away from would be Tom Hoge, Wyndham Clark. That's about it. What was Sung Jae's price? $7,900. So Akshay Bhatia? Are we looking at like an Akshay Bhatia type? Maybe it's Shane Lowry. I bet you it's Shane Lowry. I bet you that's who the Sung Jae Im of this week is, or this year. If you're looking for an equivalent, 26 in my model. It's actually Akshay. There you go, Akshay. Final answer, Akshay. It's Fleetwood for you? Yes, Fleetwood's fine. I don't mind Fleetwood. Actually, yeah. Fleetwood's a good choice. You know what? I bet you could go with a couple of those dudes. Fleetwood and Batia, or Fleetwood and Lowry. But if we want to do a 1-for-1 comparison, it looks very close to Batia being the dude. I'm looking at his bent grass. Sungjae just had better bent grass stats, honestly. 35, 35, 25, top 10 rate. 13, top 10 die rate. And then you get 13% for... And Lowry's no better. Like, yeah, I suppose it's Fleetwood. Looks like it could be Fleetwood. Oh, Batia, 22% top 10 rate on Pete Dye golf courses. Okay. It's pretty solid. Not bad. Moving on. I'm going to move on. I have Tommy in 100%. I like it. I'm going to move on to the course history twos. If you're following along, just make sure you have no other filters. Just drill down on 2. And yeah, so we have Scotty Scheffler in this bucket. So we basically can drop this bucket projection down by 1. So 1 to 4 course history twos. I don't know if I did that in the optimizer. Oh, I did. There we go. Look at me. 1 to 4 already. Again, the Scotty filter. That's all I'm gonna call it from now on, is the Scotty filter. If he's represented in a bucket, chances are he's just gonna be the one in one of those numbers of finishing inside the top 10. Man, really have nothing to mention about this bucket that the fact that Hovland's shown up in a lot of these buckets, the same as Scotty, makes me like Hovland a little bit this week. And he obviously played some really good golf at the US Open. Really good golf. He was like all business. It looked like he had pretty darn good control of his game. So I don't mind there. I also don't mind Fleetwood. I have a good feeling about Fleetwood this week. There's a lot of good names in here. A lot. Like mixing them up would be pretty darn easy. I think this is one of those buckets where you could get up to 4. Including Scheffler, or 3 not including Scheffler, and be just fine. Okay. Yeah, it's difficult. I don't know which golfer I like more than another. Ludwig, I'm kind of a little lukewarm on. I don't really care that much for Ludwig. I also don't really care that much for Cantlay, but I just have a feeling like it's the Travelers. It's another one of those events that Cantlay usually plays well at. He just showed the golf courses he likes, he plays well at. Memorial Tournament. He finished, what, 4th? Or he was all the way up to 3rd at one point in time. I know that for sure. So yeah. There's Brian Harmon. Someone was asking about him, talking about him. No problems there. Course history 3s. 1 to 3 of these golfers. Morikawa is at the top of this list. 10,200. Then Justin Thomas. You know what? I'll say this about Colin Morikawa. There's just something weird about him, his mentality, and his game. I don't know what happened. But they aren't aligning properly. They're not aligning in a way that I feel confident. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, you just know when golfers are feeling it or not feeling it. Boy, his approach numbers looked really good at the US Open, though. Ooh, 11.54. Damn. Oof. Okay, I might eat my words a little bit because that's just too good. Those putting numbers are not, they're unlikely to happen again. And these greens aren't that tough. So All right. I can be sold on Colin Morikawa. I'm not going to talk about the rest of these guys. I think... Yeah, I think I'm just going to probably move on. I mean, let's go over recent form 2s and 3s really quick. I just... getting the sense that we should just start building lineups faster, sooner rather than later, because that's what's really going to help us figure out which golfers we like from each of these buckets. So recent form 2 says we want 2 to 4. There's no Scotty in this lineup. And it goes down to newly replaced or substituted in Johnny Vegas. He replaces Corey Connors, who has a wrist injury. So, yeah, Ryan Fox is in this bucket. I like Ryan Fox. I actually like Matt Fitzpatrick. Funny. Matt Fitzpatrick. Thomas Dietrich, just a good player. I had no issue there. Golfers that I'm probably not going to go to Adam Scott. He played well at the US Open. I just don't know if that's a flash in the pan. He just had been playing some kind of middling golf as of late. And I don't really trust playing someone like Adam Scott. I don't mind going to Jordan. The more and more I see Jordan in these buckets, the happier I am. Same goes with Tommy Fleetwood. Like, again, I have a pretty good feeling about Tommy Fleetwood this week. It might be his week. It might be his week. He might get his first win this week. Good feeling about Tommy, not Elite Wood. And then let's go into the next bucket, recent form 3s. And we've got Patrick Cantlay, Ludwig, JT, Justin Thomas. And the projection here is 1 to 3. Oh, I'm sorry, we're down here. Sorry, 2 to 4. 2 to 4. That other bucket was 2 to 5. I missed that. This one's 2 to 4. There's Akshay. We were just talking about Akshay. Sung Jae's in this one. I mean, this is a good bucket. This is a bucket to fill out your lineups with. I like a lot of these dudes, 7K and below. Norin, Schmid. You know what? I don't mind going to Max Homa this week. Yeah, there's I might like too many golfers this week. So yeah, let the optimizer do its thing. Okay, is there anything else to really talk about? I'm not going to talk about salaries or stroke chain. Yeah, I'll leave those be. I want to get into lineup building soon. But first, do we have a... Yeah, we have a roll call to do. So, I'm going to add all of these to the monthly subscriber giveaway. Feel like I'm going to have to add... I'm going to go look back at the US Open. I don't get it. None of these are going to go to the monthly. These were all for the US Open. I don't know if I just didn't copy over. I'll go back and take a look, but I'm going to remove these because last week was not the first week in June for these tournaments. All right, we'll figure it out. But roll call number 1. Give me your winner this week. I want to know who you guys think is going to win the Travelers Championship. Type it in chat, and that's how you get an entry into the weekly giveaway and the monthly giveaway. What's going on, Ryan? Wyndham Clark in the 6Ks. He deserves to be there. Some of the greens here have a lot of slopes to them. Okay. Nick Taylor. Interesting. AJ Hope, nice to see you. Lombardi Lee with Patrick Cantlay. Okay. Anybody else that comes, I will add you. But let's move on to the Marquee Tee Times. Logo just pulls up. We gotta turn that off. What the heck? Okay. You all know the drill. We are in the Marquee Tee Times. So from here, we are going to get into... By the way, make sure there are no filters. If you're following along with me on the cheat sheet, make sure there's no filters. And sort A to Z on the group rank. These are the top 9 groups of the in the field. And we do this every single week. We pick 2 to 4 golfers to build our lineups around, and they cannot be in the same group together. Now we have twosomes. There are 9 twosomes, where normally we see trios. So obviously, this being a signature event, they're not going to put tee times out with 3 golfers in them. This should make it faster for everybody. And in fact, they don't need to do it. It spreads out the time so broadcast can, you know, hit everybody they possibly can. Anyways, top 9 groups. We want to select 2 to 4. From here, we don't want them paired up together. So the first group is Scottie Scheffler, JJ Spaun. I said this earlier. I think the fact that JJ's playing, or I should say Scottie's playing with JJ, will give him so much fuel and just burning desire to just trash this field. Scotty's my pick. Like, if this was a head-to-head, Scotty by a landslide. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be, but it's like, yeah, the cool off with JJ and Scotty not winning the U.S. Open again, which we're going to start probably having those conversations. I know a lot of people already have about, can Scotty win a U.S. Open? I just think he goes out and he just trashes this field. Scottie Scheffler. He's going to do what Wyndham Clark did to the locker rooms. That's how I feel about Scotty this week. Group 2, Patrick Cantlay and Sung J M. Well, that's interesting. Both hit a very... nope. I was going to say they both hit a similar shot shape, but they don't. One hits a fade, one hits a draw. And I like it, though. To me, I think Cantlay can coast or can draft off of Sungjae, where I don't think Sungjae can draft off of Cantlay. So if they're both playing, or I say this, if Sungjae's playing well, I bet you Cantlay is also playing well. If Cantlay is playing well, then there's a possibility I don't think Sungjae necessarily will be playing well. And yeah, decisions. I don't know. I like Cantlay. It's the first time seeing who Rory's paired up with. Rory McIlroy with Keegan Bradley. That's funny. If I think Scotty's gonna trash JJ Spaun, I have the same feeling about Rory trashing Keegan Bradley. Mostly because Ryder Cup is in the near future, and I know a lot of the Europeans, as well as, you know, Captain Keegan, are thinking about the Ryder Cup. And I have a feeling Rory's going to use that as fuel to throttle Keegan this week. So, I don't know. It makes me like Rory a little bit more, though, honestly. Oh, and then we get Xander and Colin Morikawa. Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa. Well, if anybody wanted just to fade Scottie Scheffler and find a 10K golfer, it feels like that's the best group to pick out of. Xander and Colin Morikawa. The best group in the field. And it's fourth in my Marquee Tee Times, but that's only because Scottie Scheffler's point total is so high in the model versus him and anybody. I bet you anybody in this field, if Scotty's paired up with him, Scotty might be in the Marquee Tee Times just because of how many points he brings to you know, basically the comparison tool. So great group in Xander and Colin. JT and Matsuyama, I also like this group. I think these golfers can draft off of each other in both directions. So if one does bad, the other one's going to do bad. If one does well, the other one's going to do well. I don't think there's going to be any one does well and one doesn't. And I kind of like them together because they have the similar shot shape, similar distances. It's pretty good. I like it. Ludwig and Burns. I want to like Burns. I think he got hosed at the US Open about not getting relief in a lie that certainly looked like standing water. I mean, that was ridiculous. I don't know. Burns doesn't strike me as the person that can let go very easily. And I think he's going to have a lot of bottled and pent up rage from the US Open that I don't necessarily think he can play well at this golf course. I just going to leave it at that. I probably wouldn't choose Burns. And I don't know if Ludwig really has been playing that well for me to want to play Ludwig. Next group is Hovland and McIntyre. Give me Hovland all day long. That's more of a personal choice. When it comes down to performances, Bobby Mack probably is better than Hovland recently, at least. So maybe that's a reason to play McIntyre over Hovland. The next group is Cam Young and Adam Scott. Cam Young's been on a heater, and now we're in the Northeast. So, I mean, we were in the Northeast last week in Pennsylvania. We are in Connecticut, and I feel like I like Cam Young's chances. And at $7,800, that's pretty good. Adam Scott's okay. Don't really care that much for Adam Scott. It's always going to come down to the putter with him, and I don't know. Not really feeling it with Adam Scott. Minwoo Lee and Harry Hall. Pass. Don't care. They can fit whatever. I just don't care. The optimizer loves Harry Hall, by the way. Just so you guys know, when we get to building lineups, it's going to choose Harry Hall quite a bit. So here's where I'm going to ask you guys, go ahead and screenshot this, because I want you to give me 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around. So I'll keep this up here. I'll put some music on. If you didn't know, we're going to get into lineup building right now. So and I will look at the chat. I shot 700, so course is pretty easy. Swipa, rough week on the old DFS, but we reload our DraftKings and give that a whirl a bit instead of FanDuel. Yeah. It was a poor showing by myself also. I put in like $209 and I got $69 back. Put in $209 and got 67 back. That's what it was. I got $67 back. So we lost quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and post this or pin this up to the top. Scotty M and Burns. Okay. If you need to pause the video and take a screenshot, I'm going to go ahead and open up the optimizer and we're going to start building lineups. And before actually we start building lineups, here's what the Wednesday night live stream provides you. I always try to find commonalities with the 7K range and try to figure out, okay, what do we normally see inside the top 10? And I grab golfers out of those pools, and you don't understand why, or if you're looking at this going, you have 21 golfers there. There were only like 8 golfers in the 7K range. yeah, you'd have to understand the price conversion that I do in order to figure out why I have so many 7K golfers. And this wasn't the whole 7K range. Normally we see 40 golfers in the 7K range. I've got 21 here. But what I did during the Wednesday night live stream is I picked out a pool of 2 pools of golfers. And basically I have one that was very confident in choosing, and the other one was like, we could see up to 2 golfers finish inside the top 10. JJ Spawn's in here, guys. If you didn't understand how to get on JJ Spawn, 7K combo buckets could have got you on JJ Spawn. Also, Sam Burns is up here. Quite frankly, I don't remember anybody else from any of these buckets being up inside the top 10. Oh, Bobby Mack. What the hell? I said 1 to 2, 1 to 3 ended up being up there. Multiple ways of finding golfers. I mean, look at the pool of golfers, or this pool right here, 12. And I'm saying 1 to 2. I probably wouldn't have changed that, honestly, even after seeing the results. It is what it is. But yeah, you could have really been on JJ Spawn and Bobby Mack, maybe even Sam Burns. And this is all from the Wednesday night live stream that I only do for YouTube members only. You don't know how to do the member only thing, there's a join button somewhere down here. Somewhere down here. A little money symbol. Click it. Choose the white tier. That's the $4.99 option, or any of the ones that are above it. Or maybe below it. It's either the black tier or the championship tier. Those 3 are the only ways to see that live stream Wednesday night. Or if we can get this video up to 25 likes, I will give out 5 free memberships. So, but yeah, we identified, or not identified, but JJ Spawn was a part of that group. Scotty M and Burns. This might be difficult to build, but we will try. All right, we have group 1, group 6, and group 2. 49.6. What else do we need? Anything? I might need to bump up the 6K range to include 1 more. That's fine. All right, timer's going on the screen. Actually, I need to change this. Of course, we get the logo. That's fine. Timer's on the screen. We're gonna build 10 lineups or 3 minutes worth of lineups. First lineup is Scheffler, Burns, M, Hall, U, and Glover. And I need to do something really quick. Change this all to 100%. All right, that's the first lineup. That one's not bad. Second lineup, we get Scheffler, Burns, M, Hall, Thompson, and Johnny Vegas. Scheffler, Burns, Sungjae, Ryan Fox, Kevin Yu, and Benny Ann. Yeah, sign me up. See, a lineup like that is solid. Benny Ann is your last guy in. $6,300. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty good. It's pretty
I
good.
don't think I can have Dunlap in this lineup. But if you are cool with it, this lineup's not bad. I don't know if I can get there, though. Scheffler, Burns, M, Harry Hall, Sam Stevens, and Joe Highsmith. Sure. Why not? I like Sam Stevens this week. Scheffler, Burns, M, Ryan Fox, Kevin Yu, Eric Cole. Another solid lineup. Scheffler, Burns, M, JT Poston, Kevin Yu, and Brian Campbell. I'm going to actually skip that one, too. And then it breaks. It breaks because, well, the buckets are limited. And I have this pretty forgiving. I'm going to throw that out there. Let's go ahead and open up the 6K range a little bit more. Not sure if I'm super cool with this, but we'll do it nonetheless. And then we get Scheffler, Burns, M, Grazerman, Thompson, U. Scheffler, Burns, M, Grazerman, U, Cole. Solid. Scheffler, Burns, M, Stevens, Yeager, and Kevin U. I actually really like that lineup. That one's pretty good. I'll give you one of these guys. Scheffler, Burns, M, Dietrich, Yeager, and Kevin U. I like that one as well. It's solid. And the last one is yeah, this is a good one too. Scheffler, Burns, M, Grazerman, U, Woodland. All right. All right, John, those are some solid lineups for how limited building lineups was going to be, having such high priced golfers in your lineups. That's pretty good. Okay. Moving on to Mr. Henson, Scotty Hovland, and JT Poston. Hovland. All right. Timer is on the screen, Ryan. Let's get at it. Scheffler, Hovland, M, Poston, Schmid, and Eric Cole. Not terrible. It's pretty good. Scheffler, Hovland, M, Poston, Schmid, Glover. Like that one as well. You're welcome, John. Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, Harry Hall, Bud Cauley, and Matty Schmidt. I actually really like that lineup. That one's a good one. Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, Harry Hall, Jason Day, Benny Ann. Sneaky good lineup there. 10-9, 3-7s, and a $6,300 golfer. That's, yeah, sneaky. It's very sneaky. Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, Harry Hall, Bud Cauley, and Kevin Yu. We're getting a lot of Harry Hall. Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, Harry Hall, Jason Day, and Gary Woodland. I'm going to go ahead and kick out Harry Hall. We get Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, J-Day, Cauley, and Davis Thompson. I do like the idea of Davis Thompson this week. Scheffler, Hovland, Batia, Poston, Cauley, Cam Davis. Wow. Wow. That one's... this one I like a lot. Scheffler, Hovland, Poston, Day, Cauley, and Steven Yeager. Kick Day, he says. Then we get Scheffler, Hovland, Batia, Poston, and Johnny Vegas. And one last one. Interesting. Scheffler, Hovland, Berger, Poston, Cauley, Eckroat. Okay. That one I do not mind. And I'm actually I'm gonna save this one over one of these. This one, I think. Let's do it over this one. Okay. Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm going through these fast, so moving on to the next guy. AJ Love. Scotty and D-Tree. Wow. D-Tree of all people. How much D-Tree? I'm gonna add 100 points to his score just so I don't have to continue locking out people. All right, AJ, you are on the timer. We get Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Sung Jae, Dietrich, Kevin Yu, and Schmid. I'm gonna drop this down to 1. Oh, I should actually change the 6Ks to 2. My bad. Well, this one's okay. Scheffler, Fleetwood, Sung Jae, Bud Cauley, Thomas Dietrich, and Matty Schmid. Scheffler, Fleetwood, Hall, J-Day, Bud Cauley, Thomas Dietrich. Not bad. Scheffler, Fleetwood, Hall, J-Day, Grazerman. One more Harry Hall lineup and I'm kicking him out. Same goes with Jason Day. We had an Akshay lineup. Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Batia, Day, Dietrich, Vegas. So Day will get the boot. And then I'm going to kick out Harry Hall when I see him next. There he is. Scheffler, Griffin, Sung Jae, Harry Hall, Wyndham, Clark, Dietrich. Sure, I'm going to save one Wyndham Clark lineup just because. Then we get Scheffler, McIntyre, Sung Jae, Batia, Dietrich, and Eric Cole. Okay. One more Sung Jae lineup, and I'm going to kick him out too. And there he is. I'm actually not going to save that one because I don't really like Cam Davis this week. We already have one Cam Davis lineup saved. You can save it on your end, AJ. This lineup is Scotty Scheffler, JT, Ricky Fowler, Denny McCarthy, Dietrich, and Davis Thompson. Okay, yeah. You get one of these for that one. That was a sexy lineup. I like it a lot. Two more. Scheffler, Thomas Harmon, Fowler, Dietrich, Glover. That one's fine. It's okay. And we get Scheffler, McIntyre, Cam Young, Batia, Dietrich, Benyan. That is a lineup to end on. That was a good one for you, man. I like that one. I'm going to do this for that. That one's good. All right, next lineup. AJ Hope. AJ, I hope you are here. Victor, Scotty, and Keegan. Wow. This one might be difficult. I'll increase the 6Ks down here. This might be too challenging. We shall see. I'm gonna go ahead and put the timer on for you. Break the glass for Stone Cold. I should have done that. All right, so not a great lineup start with Dunlap in there. I'm gonna have to remove the 7K minimum. We'll go from there. Use Glover. Okay. A non-Glover lineup. This one's pretty solid. You get Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Jaeger, Yu, and Schmid. You Glover lover. No, thank you for Dunlap. Yeah. Oh, I hear you on that one. This one is Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Cauley, Glover, and Johnny Vegas. Then we get Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Sam Stevens, Matty Schmid, and Lucas Glover. That one's pretty solid. I like that one. Pretty good. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Grazerman, Glover, Hadwin. Could do worse. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Grazerman, Glover, Eckroat. Okay. Getting weird. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Norin, Yu, and Glover. I like that one a lot. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Bud Cauley, Kevin Yu, and Highsmith. Did I not lock in Glover? My bad. Did we build Glover lineups just naturally? Didn't even have to put those ones. I didn't have to lock those in. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Bud Colley, Kevin. Okay. I'm going to save it just because. You like Noren? I like Noren. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Grazerman, Glover, Pavon. Not going to add Brian Campbell to the mix. Then we might break it now. We do not. Whoa. Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Bezadenhout, you and Glover. I'll bring back Alex Noren for one. See if the optimizer selects him. We get Scheffler, Hovland, Bradley, Noren, Kevin Yu, and Glover. Did we already do Kevin Yu with? We did. Okay, so let's kick out. Let's bring back Noren and kick out Yu. And it breaks. Okay, so we'll kick out Noren, or I mean, yeah. Wow, actually, Kevin Yu is a glue piece. Okay. Let's see what this last lineup would look like. Michael Kim, Kevin Yu, Glover. How many U's were those? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 total. This would be 5. I don't know about that. I'm going to kick out Glover for the time being, and maybe a Noren lineup will appear without. It does. Oh, I forgot about that. Wasn't considering you before now. Well, now you are. Sorry, had to do it. How about Sam Stevens? Can I get a Sam Stevens and Noren lineup maybe? Without it breaking? Possibly? Optimizer? Dang it. With all those guys out and Sam Stevens back, you get Davis, Thompson, Eric Cole. That is not a duplicate. So that was the last lineup. I did try to make Noren work, but it just didn't. But that was fine. Here are your lineups. Screenshot them. Pause the video, screenshot them. That kind of stuff. Beautiful thing about YouTube is you can hit the rewind button. Go check it back out. All right, so those were AJ hopes. Now we're on to Wheels Up. He wants Tommy, Vegas, and Sungjae. Johnny Vegas. All right, Wheels Up, you are on the clock, and you're welcome, AJ. Hopefully I built you some good ones there. All right, first lineup has Rory, Justin Thomas, Fleetwood, Sungjae, Eric Cole, and Johnny Vegas. Solid. Rory, Fleetwood, McIntyre, M Hall, Vegas. All right, so I got to boost up Vegas once more. What's going on, Base J? Next lineup is Rory, Fleetwood, McIntyre, M Hall, Vegas. Did we just do this one? Yes, we did. My bad. That'll kick out Harry Hall, thankfully. Then we get Xander, JT, Fleetwood, M, Colley, Vegas. Ooh, I like that lineup. Solid. Super solid. And we replace, I forget his name already, but with Max Grazerman. All right, so Sung Jae, okay. How much do you want Sung Jae? Wheels up. This is Xander, JT, Fleetwood, M, Clark, and Vegas. Next one I'm sure is going to be Sung Jae in there. Oh, not Sung Jae. I'm sorry. Who was I talking about? I did say Sung Jae, didn't I? Justin Thomas and Xander. Those are the dudes. How much of those guys do you want? Xander, JT, Fleetwood, M, Hoagie, and Vegas. Solid. 100%. Ooh, okay. Oh, you were talking about M. My bad. Bet you'll catch up. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. JT Burns, Fleetwood, Bradley, Sung Jae, and Johnny Vegas. I like that lineup. And you get a Scotty lineup. Ha 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 ha. You get Scheffler, Fleetwood, Sung Jae, Batia, Matty Schmidt, and Vegas. What a lineup. Makes me happy that I built you a Scotty lineup without even trying. You said to drop JT, so let's drop him after this line. Let's drop him now. I don't really care for Cam Davis. McIlroy, Burns, Fleetwood, M, U, Vegas. That's a solid lineup too. I like that lineup. McIlroy, Burns, Fleetwood, M, Davis, Thompson, and Johnny Vegas. I like that lineup too. Solid. Okay, cool. Those were some good lineups. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right. You love Scotty is ahead of Tiger for you? Damn. I don't know if you're saying things to make me say things, but I'm not going to go that far. I think the best way to put this is Scotty is going to be a legend at the end of his career. He will be a legend. You will speak of him in the same way you speak of Tiger, Nicklaus, Palmer, Player, Hogan, Snead, all of those guys. He's going to be his own legend. Ryan Henson's, did you see my Discord messages? I did not, because I don't. If there's one thing you need to know about me, outside of emails, I turn all notifications off. I hate being bothered. So I do not have Discord. Like, I need Discord up on my computer for me to actually see Discord. I do have it on my phone, but I need to also log into Discord in order to see everything. So no, I have not seen your messages. Email and Twitter, X, are the best ways to reach me, and email's the best way to reach me. All right, Lombardi Lee. Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Brian Harmon. Cantlay, Justin Thomas. B Harms, where you at? There he is. B Harms down here. I need to change some scores, I believe. Some metrics. Okay. Cantlay, JT, and Harmon. We got it. All right. Timer is going on the screen. First lineup is Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Bradley, Griffin, Brian Harmon, and Harry Hall. Okay. Actually need to boost up Mr. Harmon. And I'm going to kick out Harry Hall. It's too much Harry Hall, dude. Too much. Just means he's going to be a first-round leader. Throwing that out there right now. Cantlay, JT, Fleetwood, Griffin, Harmon, and Matty Schmid. I like that. Haven't seen Matty Schmid in a while. He was playing okay for the little break. Cantlay, JT, Fleetwood, McIntyre, Harmon, and Kevin Yu. Solid. Cantlay, Thomas, McIntyre, Griffin, Harmon, and J-Day. Don't mind that lineup. Cantlay, Thomas, Fleetwood, Young, Harmon, Grazerman. It's different. Loving it. Cantlay, Thomas, Fleetwood, JJ Spawn, Harmon, Cam Davis. Sure. We need one Cam Davis lineup in our life. Cantlay, Thomas, McIntyre, Griffin, Harmon, Fowler. Solid. Cantlay, Thomas, Fleetwood, JJ Spawn, Harmon, Vegas. You're getting a bunch of different lineups, man. You always have good combos to mix and match. Cantlay, Thomas, Griffin, Pendrith, Batia, Harmon. Love it. Then Cantlay, Thomas, McIntyre, Griffin, Harmon, and Wyndham Clark. I'm not going to say that one. What a good time, I mean, honestly, to play Wyndham Clark. No one's going to want to play him. But here we go, Denny McCarthy. All right. Those were 10 lineups for Mr. Lombardi. Got through them fast. Real fast with a minute left. All right, Lombardi. I hope you like those lineups. Now move on to the next person. Which it looks like Scotty, Young, and McIntyre. Yeah, Ryan, I do have a SweetSpot Discord. I think I have it on private, and I wasn't going to push it off because I'm just not in. I'm not in social media all that often. Scotty, Young, and McIntyre. Group 1, Group 7, and Group 8. All right, Tim Tulos, hope you're ready. Put that timer up on there, and I'm going to get to lineup building. Scotty, Robert, Cam Young, Brian Harmon, Harry Hall, and Eric Cole. Solid. No issues there. Scheffler, McIntyre, Young, Harmon, Colley, and Kevin Yu. Ooh, I like that lineup. Solid, solid. Scheffler, McIntyre, Cam Young, Brian Harmon, Harry. Ooh, I need to bump down Harmon, right? My bad. My bad. It's okay. Little Brian Harmon can't hurt us. Literally can't hurt us. Too small. Scheffler, McIntyre, Cam Young, Harry Hall, J-Day, and Davis Thompson. Ooh, I like that lineup. Not a huge fan of Jason Day, but I can allow it here and there. Scheffler, McIntyre, Cam Young, Harry Hall, Bud Colley, and Matty Schmid. Love it. I'm going to kick out Harry Hall. It's a lot of Harry Hall. Scheffler, McIntyre, Young, Day, Grazerman, and Yeager. Oh, I like that lineup a lot. I think actually I'm going to kick out J-Day and I'm going to try to rebuild that lineup. Need to bring back Yeager. Scotty, McIntyre, Cam Young, Batia, Grazerman, Cam Davis. Yeah, it's whatever. Scheffler, McIntyre, Young, Berger, Colley, and Vegas. That's fine. Scheffler, McIntyre, Young, Minwoo, Grazerman, and Benny Ann. I like that lineup. Scheffler, McIntyre, Im, Young, Stevens, Dunlap. Ah, we can't end on a Dunlap lineup. No, thank you. Scheffler, McIntyre, Young, Fowler, Bud Cauley, and Steven Yeager. I can end on that one. That was a good one. All right, Tim. Hopefully you like those lineups. All right, let's see. Anybody else? That might be it. Am I missing anybody? Just want to throw that out there. Wheels Up says, I love Scotty. He's ahead of Tiger for me. It's just I don't like the 2v2 for Scotty's price. Yeah, that's fair. Scotty will finish ahead of Tiger, but he will age better. I agree. He will definitely age better. Oh, Base J. Yes. Thank you, sir. JT, Spieth, and Berger. I like that lineup. Or I like that combo. That's gonna be fun. This will be good. No one above JT. Okay. If you say so. Here we go. We get JT, Burns, Fleetwood, Spieth, Berger, and J-Day. We need to bump Berger's score up a little bit. And Jordo's. And we'll kick J-Day out of this one now. We get Thomas, Fleetwood, Spieth, M, Young, and Berger. Don't mind that one. JT, Burns, Spieth, Griffin, Berger, Batia. Hell yeah, dude. That's a good one. 998877. I like that lineup. JT, Burns, Spieth, M, Scott, Berger. Got some Adam Scott love in there. That's the first time I think he's been picked. JT, Burns, McIntyre, Spieth, Berger, and Minwoo. Okay. Don't hate it. Don't love it. JT, Burns, Fleetwood. Love that. Spieth, Berger, Cauley. What a... Yeah. This is... Okay. You get one of these, man. Almost took it off with me. Jeez. I really like this lineup. This is I mean, it's a lineup I'm probably gonna steal for myself, honestly. JT, Burns, McIntyre, Spieth, Berger, and Aaron Rye. Okay. I don't even know. Was that our first Aaron Rye lineup? That was. JT, Burns, Fleetwood, Spieth, Berger, Max Grazerman. Solid. JT, Hovland, Fleetwood, Spieth, Berger, Harry Hall. Not a big fan of Harry Hall, but it is what it is. Ooh, I like this one too. JT, Burns, Fleetwood, Spieth, Berger, McCarthy. Hell yeah. Let's see, one more. Just one more. Tom Kim. It's JT, Burns, McIntyre, Spieth, Berger, Tom Kim. Hell yeah. Pretty sweet. How dare you? Hey, it's my channel, damn it. I can do whatever I want. Kidding. All right. That was an extra lineup in there, but that's fine. All right. So, I think that's everybody. And honestly, I guess some closing words. I did want to finish this. Hey, let's do roll call number 2. Roll call number 2. What do you think the winning score this week is going to be? hear what the results have been. Give me your winning score. It honestly, you don't have to put much science behind it. It's just to get participation points. This is for roll call number 2 because I forgot to do. Where are we at? Oh no, this is perfect timing. We're at 2 hours. Jim Lemoyne. Minus 15. Tim Toulos, minus 22. 22 Tim Toulos. Is there anyone else here? Minus 18 Bob, as in Bob McIntyre. That's bold. Lombardi with minus 11. Okay. Bob Barker, Price is Right. Oh, I see. I see. Price is wrong, bitch. All right. I'm not sure if there's any other participants, and I really don't know if there's really anything else to talk about. It is kind of a hangover week. Even like DraftKings is dragging their feet. Like the contest selection right now is pretty awful. I guess I'll mention this. Colin Morikawa was not selected tonight. Ludwig was not selected. Sepp Straka was not selected, nor was Russell Henley. Kind of like Russell Henley. Hideki Matsuyama was not selected. Shane Lowry was not selected. Siwoo, Harris English, Tony Finau were not selected. Neither was Mav McNeely. I do like Mav McNeely this week. Luke Clanton, I think that's totally fine. Luke Clanton is talented, but kind of wait and see. Fitzpatrick was not selected, nor was Nick Taylor, Andrew Novak, or Ryan Gerard. Michael Kim was selected, but did not save for whatever reason. Interesting. Betty, interesting. Very little Rory, very little Xander. Crazy. Oh, Joanne. Nice to see you, Joanne. All right. So tomorrow, I think most of you guys here are members. So I'll go over the 7K combo buckets tomorrow and give you kind of my final thoughts. For those that are not members, I mean, I'm going to try to make Scotty Scheffler work in as many ways as possible. I might even go Scotty Scheffler and pairing him up with each one of these golfers in the 8K range, at least once. So like it would look something like this. So I'll build a Scotty with Cantley lineup and I'll just hit run optimizer and just see what it does. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And it gives me a lineup. So that's great. Harry Hall and Jason Day show up. I personally don't want either one of them to be an anchor in any of my lineups. So the fact that the optimizer is doing that is whatever. We can just say no and try it again. And I don't care for Min Woo Lee either. Like I'll say this. Last week, I can't remember what it was. It was either last week or the week before, but you know, the optimizer picks certain players, and I'm just like, I just can't do it. Don't want to do it. I think JJ Spawn was probably one of them last week. It's like, nah, I know we need accuracy guys, but I don't like him in this lineup. I'd rather have someone else. And then obviously, I mean, I don't know how those lineups did, but I feel like that's been happening more to me now. Whereas I think when I was more successful, I was a bit more open-minded when it came to picking players. So I guess a lineup like this, I do want to save because it's just going to be different. It's already different. It's super different than most. And in fact, maybe what I'd end up doing is building 2 or 3 Scotty Cantlay lineups and then moving on to the next guy. So I could save something and then let's see what happens when I build another lineup. So Minwoo actually gets locked in there, and I do not want Minwoo. Like, I want to see a slightly different lineup build, and Kevin Yu's probably gonna get kicked out too. Yeah, so did we save him with Kevin Yu before? Yeah. So I'm gonna bring back Ryan Fox once again and kick out Kevin Yu. And it's really the only way to make the optimizer be different, is you kind of have to force your will a little bit on the optimizer. Something like this, I absolutely love. McCarthy, Fox, Stevens, Schmidt. Yeah, perfect. And so then I would go down in the next one. You know, I want to see some Scotty Oberg lineups. Poston, Fowler, Thompson, and Cole. Yeah, something like this, completely random, completely different. No one's building that lineup. Nick Dunlap, I will have it at least in one lineup that will win me my money back. That's it. Otherwise, I don't want to touch him. Scheffler, Oberg, Poston, Fowler, Thompson, Davis. That's fine. But yeah, that's kind of what I plan on doing when it comes to building these lineups. Scheffler, Henley, Im, Fowler, Jaeger, Schmidt. Ooh, I like that lineup. Base J, I'll build you like 3 lineups, but I'm gonna log off here. I am tired, and I had 0 caffeine today. I'm caffeine free for the first time in a long time, and I'm exhausted. Scheffler, Henley, McIntyre, McCarthy, Schmidt, Glover. That's fine. Oh, wheels up. You're kind of far behind there, pal. Look at you guys getting stuck in the past. Lowry is a child. Bradley, Henley, Poston. First lineup with these guys, we got JT, Henley, Bradley, Sung Jae, Cam Young, and JT Poston. JT once again, but we include Pendrith this time. I'm gonna kick out Justin Thomas. And we go Xander, Henley, Bradley, Im, Poston, Thompson. A lot of Im love. It's pretty good. I actually like it a lot, minus Harry Hall. Shoffley, Henley, Bradley, Batia, Poston, Harry Hall. I'm going to kick out Harry Hall. I switched to mobile and didn't panel to live. Oh, no worries, no worries. Perfect. This is a really good lineup to end on. All right, Base J, that was your last one, and I actually really like that one. Pretty good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting tired. Oh, you had a headache? No worries. No worries, dude. Time for me to log off. Again, I'll be live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for YouTube members. If you want to check it out, join the white tier, the black tier, or the champions tier, and that's how you will get access to watch that. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.